Imagine this: a conqueror who had never lost a battle, a warrior who had marched his army across continents, and a king who had declared himself the son of Zeus, suddenly falls gravely ill. Within days, this unstoppable force, this living legend, is dead. His empire, the largest the world had ever seen, is thrown into chaos. But here's where things get even stranger. His body did not decay for days after his death. His generals, already scheming for power, whispered in dark corners. Had Alexander been murdered? Poisoned by his own men? Or was there something much more mysterious at play? This is the story of one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries: the death of Alexander the Great. It was June 323 BC, and Alexander was at the height of his power. He had conquered Persia, Egypt, and vast lands stretching all the way to India. But his ambition was endless. He was preparing for his next great campaign, an invasion of Arabia. One night, at a banquet in Babylon, he raised a cup of wine. Moments later, he clutched his stomach in agony. Over the next 12 days, his condition worsened. High fever, extreme pain, paralysis. His body was shutting down. His generals, loyal and treacherous alike, gathered around, whispering among themselves. And then, suddenly, silence. Alexander the Great, the man who had been declared a god, was dead. He was just 32 years old. Rumors of assassination began immediately. Poison was the most obvious explanation. After all, Alexander had enemies everywhere, not just on the battlefield, but within his own inner circle. The suspects: Cassander, son of Antipater, one of Alexander's most powerful generals, had the strongest motive. Alexander had humiliated Cassander in front of his court, even throwing him against a wall in a fit of rage. Antipater, Cassander's father and a key figure in Alexander's government, was about to be removed from power. Could he have preemptively struck against the king? Ptolemy, one of Alexander's closest companions, would later take Egypt for himself. Did he see an opportunity to remove his king and seize control? The royal cupbearer, Aeolus, who was responsible for pouring Alexander's last drink, was Antipater's son. Had he slipped poison into the wine? Greek historian Plutarch later wrote that Alexander cried out in pain immediately after drinking from the cup, a detail that strongly suggests poisoning. But there was a problem. Ancient poisons worked quickly. Alexander, however, took nearly 2 weeks to die. Could this have been a slow-acting poison, designed to mimic a natural illness? Many modern historians dismiss the poison theory and point instead to a natural cause. Alexander had been marching through jungles, swamps, and disease-ridden lands for years. He had suffered multiple wounds in battle. His body was exhausted, weakened. The leading medical theories suggest typhoid fever or malaria, both common in Babylon, could have caused his slow decline. West Nile virus, which can lead to paralysis, fits Alexander's symptoms eerily well. Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare disorder where the immune system attacks the nervous system, could explain his gradual paralysis and eventual death. But here's where it gets even more bizarre. His body did not decompose for 6 days. This was unheard of in the scorching heat of Babylon. The Greeks believed it was proof of Alexander's divine status. But what if there was another explanation? Some experts suggest that Alexander wasn't actually dead when his body stopped showing decay. In rare cases of Guillain-Barré syndrome, patients can appear dead, with no ability to move or communicate, but still be fully conscious. Could it be that Alexander was buried alive, trapped inside his own paralyzed body? His generals, eager to claim his empire, had no reason to check. He was placed in a gold sarcophagus, his body transported through Egypt. And then, centuries later, his tomb vanished without a trace. Where is Alexander's body today? Was it hidden? Stolen? Or does it still lie beneath the sands of Egypt, waiting to be found? So, was Alexander poisoned? Was he struck down by illness? Or is the truth far stranger than we ever imagined? There are too many coincidences to ignore. A power struggle erupted the moment Alexander died, with his generals carving up his empire like hungry wolves. The timing was too perfect, and the fact that his closest men gained the most from his death suggests that something more sinister was at play. Yet, history has left us only fragments of the truth. We may never know the answer. But one thing is certain: the death of Alexander the Great remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. What do you think? Was Alexander poisoned, or was it just an unlucky fate? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more historical mysteries just like this one. Until next time, keep questioning history.